why train, and this is obviously carbine specific or rifle specific, why train without a sling? So, and let me set this up. Like most people are, if you have a carbine, you have a sling. Why? Because it's basically like a holster for your carbine.
It's 100% a holster
right?
for a carbine, yeah.
But why? So if I always have a sling on my rifle, why would I ever train without a sling? What's the value in doing that?
So are you always guaranteed 100% in your life? You could put millions of dollars on the line that from now until you are dead, that you will have not only a sling, but a functional sling that'll never get in your way and you'll never have to ditch it.
So I can answer, actually, I'm going to answer this question a little bit in a different direction. So the sling that I was running today on my rifle is the same sling I've been running forever. I like it a lot. It's a T-Rex sling. It's been a great sling for me. And I've never had an issue with it, ever. I've also never had an issue with the QD pieces that are on there, right? So it was about, I don't know, JP one was about a month ago. We were out on the range, and the fucking thing kept getting disconnected. And I thought it was the QD on there. Like I got a faulty QD. I just got to get it replaced. But it happened like 3 or 4 times where it was coming detached, right, at the back end, right, at the buttstock, and I was getting really frustrated because we were running through some movement drills, and I was like, this is really fucking me up. And and then we were going into transitions. Obviously, that's very problematic. And what I realized was it had nothing to do with the sling. It had nothing to do with the attachments. It was the jacket that I was wearing. I had a jacket. I was wearing our Arc'teryx jacket, right? And it had these little Velcros on it to keep the sleeves tight. And so there's rigidity in the sleeve, and it was coming up, and it was pushing perfectly on that QD release to get that rear QD to release when I was on top of it. It was the most frustrating fucking thing ever, but now I know. And I would have never known had I not trained in that jacket. I wear that jacket when it rains. I hadn't really been out in the rain on the range, but the fact that we'd gone out on the range that day in the rain, I put on this shell, and it was all kinds of fucked up, and it ruined my day out there. But I didn't know, right? So going back to training without a sling, I have a sling, and it works fine. My jacket fucked up that sling.
So what would you have done if you were in a real life situation and this would have happened?
That's the point.
Would you have frozen? Would you have been like, do I hold on to this? What do I do? I'll give you some personal, real life experiences that I've had. One of them at the range, and another one multiple times in law enforcement. There's a lot of cops, so I'll do the law enforcement one. A lot of cops, most of them actually, keep their sling on the carbine inside the police vehicle, but it's usually like crunched up, and then they put a rubber band on it, or they do something where it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
So
there's some kind of retention system.
It's some kind of retention system, so it's not flopping around inside the shop. I call it a shop. Shop is
which is a safety issue, but also like a practical issue.
It is. It's all practicality more than anything. And the purpose behind it is when you grab the rifle, you're supposed to take off the retention and then throw on the rifle, right? I've seen multiple cops go code 3 to whatever said location, show up on scene, immediately grab the rifle and run out. They don't fucking sling it, because the first thing they're thinking about is, I gotta get to my fucking buddies over there. And what would happen if the carbine stopped working and they didn't sling it? What would you do? Like, what the fuck would you do? And I've seen them, and they're on there, and they're like, oh shit, I forgot to put it on. Because they're like, hey, put on the fucking sling, or whatever. So
now you've got it. So let's say you're in that situation, right? And you've got a malfunction, right? And you're engaged with the threat, and you don't have a sling, or you didn't sling it. So now there's a whole other set of circumstances. There's another problem now you have to solve. There's a puzzle that you have to work through, right, from top to bottom. I think, which is the question, or part of the answer to the question is like, why train without a sling? And
so there's no pause there. You just know what to do because you've done it multiple times.
Right.
Versus I saw you today at the range. No, it was you. Because you don't train concealed with carbine much. You probably do, but not much.
Not without a sling anyway.
And you paused and you went, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, shit, yeah, okay. It took you a while to process.
Yeah.
Now, in real life, that's what's going to happen. It's going to take you a while to process because, well, that's my rifle, or I have to do this, or this is what I'm trained to do. So, real life situations is not the time to train things.
Right.
You should already know how to fucking do things.
Right.
Now, how often is that going to happen? It's rare.
Hopefully never.
Hopefully I never have to do that. Yeah, but I've seen it. Another example on the range. Somebody showed up to one of our courses, did not have a sling.
Just left it
They're
at
like,
home
"Fuck,
or
I
whatever.
forgot it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Don't worry, bro. Here, borrow mine." I knew how to transition from carbine to handgun because I've trained it.
Okay, so that's a different type of situation, but practical nonetheless.
It's a practical
You
situation.
just forget it.
Yeah.
You forget it.
Yeah.
You
Slings
forget
are
it.
slings are great. I have mine.
When they work.
No, I have mine, but
I have multiple slings.
It's meant to carry my gun,
Right.
It's multiple
not to work with my gun. But
Yeah, so I've had, so your sling, the tightness of it, right? You can make it tight, you can make it loose, right? So, I mean, you're adjusting that depending on the activity you're partaking in with carbine. You're adjusting that sometimes a lot, sometimes not at all. So I've had my sling get in the way of my reload. I have jammed my sling into my mag well with the magazine I'm reloading with. I've done that. I've went to hit my paddle to send my working parts forward, and my sling was in the way. It either blocked me or I had to purposely move my thumb around the sling to hit the paddle. When you're transferring the carbine from right shoulder to left
yeah,
and
offset.
left to right, it's a goddamn nightmare to navigate the sling.
Especially if you're wearing a chest rig or there's things that, or
Yep.
plates.
Now, if you have to take your sling on or off with the helmet and nods that are in the up position or the down position, now you have to let it all the way loose, and it gets hooked on like your battery pack in the back or antennas you got. This is more of like a military application, or it gets caught on. It's designed to carry your carbine. Train with it, train without it. Know what it's good for, know what it's not. Is it great for climbing a ladder to fucking get Overwatch on a
Sure.
wall? Fuck yes.
Right.
Is it great for throwing on your back, making it tight? You can drag a buddy with two hands? Absolutely. Is it good for running through a small Afghani built house where you're constantly switching shoulders because of your angles of your
Maybe
hallways?
not.
Maybe not.
Right.
So have one, know how to do everything with it and everything without it.
So don't be dependent
But
on
do
it.
100%. That's the best summary I can think of right there.
The other
Yeah.
thing too you got to think about is, so think about high frequency events and low frequency events, right? So what's a high frequency event?
Exactly. Like expand on that.
So a high frequency event would be your gun stops working because of a malfunction.
Yeah, this shit happens.
It happened to me at the range.
Guaranteed to happen.
How many fucking times today?
Yeah, Murphy was on your shoulder.
It
all
was
day.
fucking me in the ass
Straight up.
dude, today. I have the look from the reload
damn, look at
from the
that, dude.
malfunctions today.
Oh,
I was
yeah, you were
slapping the
working
shit.
hard.
I was
Yeah.
working hard.
I remember my first boo boo.
I do. I know. I remember my first
Medic.
malfunction. So high frequency shit, low frequency shit. One thing that kind of teased me off, I don't see too many people working from the seated position. I don't see too many people teaching proper.
You mean like in a car or sitting at a table in a chair?
it's just seated in general. How much time do you spend seated in your day?
Too much.
Too much.
Yeah, I just
right?
asked my hips.
How
and
many?
low back.
How much time do you spend on the range training seated positions?
0.
Let me ask you this.
Tomorrow we
Where to
will.
tomorrow then.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. The frequency at which physical altercations end up on the ground, what's the percentage if you had to put a number on it?
I'm going to say 98%.
End
if
up on the
you're
ground.
staying in the fight.
Okay,
Right.
end up in the ground, right?
Right.
How many times do you train at the range shooting from your back, from the supine, from a guard position?
Have I done it? Yes.
I didn't ask that.
Frequently, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So high frequency training, low frequency training. So a lot of instructors teach, or a lot of courses teach, let's do the reload. Let's fucking do the fastest reload. Let's do the fastest draw from the
On
conceal.
the timer, yeah.
How high frequency is you going Winchester on a gun. I'm not saying don't train a reload fast. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is don't waste your time doing just reloads.
Yeah.
Do more high frequency shit. I've seen, if you look up like law enforcement uses of force or OISs, most OISs either happen from their vehicle, or they happen on the ground, or right after a fight, or they happen in close proximity. But you don't train retention shooting, compression shooting, shooting from the seated position, seated, you know, shooting from a supine or on your back. You just don't do it because, oh, it's a safety issue. It's
Right.
scary. Hey, I'd rather you get accurate, you know, just shooting.
Yeah.
Let's do this, let's do that.
Can I
Like,
get
oh,
you to
shit.
talk like that
All the time.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I kind of derailed, but we were talking about
No, we were talking about slings and when to and when not to train with them.
So back on the sling.
Do both.
I'm not saying you better start doing half of your transitions from non-sling. What I'm saying is know how to do it, be proficient with it, but don't waste your time with it either. So a lot of people ask me, you don't own a sling. You don't use slings. No, fuck you. I do use slings, and I own multiple slings, but that's a high frequency thing. So I want to train something that I'm not good at.
Right.
And then now that I'm good at it, or that I'm decent at it, now I'll spend time doing high frequency event type shit.